everybody? Jake here, and welcome back to the Card Lounge podcast. I'm here with my co-host.
Hey, Robo. What's up, guys?
And what episode are we on, Rob? Episode 6, 7?
No, episode 42?
We're on 43.
43.
Wait, I think this might be 44.
Is it 40?
I think this might be 44.
It kind of, man, it's wild. It kind of blurs together. I saw a lot of people in the comments talking about how like crazy it is, especially those that have been with us since episode 1. And, you know, we'll eventually be to episode 52 by the end of the year. Because we started like right at the beginning of the year.
Right. We started right when I think our very first episode was the release of Prismatic Evolution. So it's a really interesting timestamp. And yes, episode 52 would literally be our anniversary. We'll do something for it. Episode 100 will be interesting too.
Yeah. Definitely.
Episode 420. I'm excited for it. It's only a couple of years away. Maybe 8 years?
We'll do, yeah, episode 100, we'll definitely have to do something special for. 1 year anniversary, we'll do something special. Maybe we can, I don't know, invite some for episode 100 or 200. We'll definitely include the Card Lounge community in some way.
You got something for us for show and tell today, Rob?
I don't really, except for, do you ever really open up Yu-Gi-Oh? No, right?
The last time I opened up Yu-Gi-Oh was like 3 years ago for a meme where it was an April Fool's Day joke, and I pretended to say that I was done opening up Pokemon cards forever, and I was switching over to Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
And it was an April Fool's Day joke, and we opened up Maximum Gold, and we were looking for
That's a fun set.
Gold, Blue Eyes, White Dragon.
Yep.
And that was fun.
Well, so this is the thing. Maximum Gold's great. I know the rarity collections are fun. I've ripped that a lot on stream, on RoboSkills, you know, on YouTube. And what's funny is I just feel like the Yu-Gi-Oh collecting community is small, but it's definitely still there. I ripped 1 pack of Yu-Gi-Oh and look what I pulled. Guys, I pulled number 6-7. 6-7. I don't know why. And this anything that involves pulling a 6-7 right now is going viral online because I guess it's like the new like crazy trend, like
it's just a good number.
You know, the damn Daniel or whatever. Is it a good number?
It's a good number.
Do you know what the 6-7 means?
6-7 means 6-7. You just got to be a part of Group 7 to understand 6-7.
I don't even understand the Group 7 thing. I just know there's a rapper who made a song, and then at some point in the song he goes 6-7, but I don't know like what it actually relates to.
I think we're at the age where we just got to go with it. I'm going with it. If my kid comes home and they say 6-7, I'm just going to say, okay, I guess that's what's cool now.
I know that's what kids like saying, but all right, so everyone check this out.
Can you imagine if you get number 6-7 in a black label, what that would go for on like an auction?
That's what okay, maybe I should get this graded. So guys, let me know in the comments below if I should get this graded at BGS or if it should be PSA. If I get this in a black label, oh my gosh, I mean for a Yu-Gi-Oh card, which, you know, in the past I've seen has really bad corners. This is not bad. And it's a black card. Which,
dude, you got to do it now. You got to do it now. I just want to do it for the memes. It'll be funny.
You're right. Okay, all right. I will get this card graded. I haven't graded a Yu-Gi-Oh card in forever.
We'll throw it up on a Card Lounge auction in a year, and we'll see what it does.
Yeah, we'll
the meme will be way dead by then, but we'll know.
No, I don't know. Maybe if they can grade this quickly, a number 6-7. Yeah, that'd be wild. Paradise Smasher. Any Yu-Gi-Oh fans in the comments below, let us know if this is a good card or if it just is a meme card. I think it's pretty good. It's got 2100 attack, 2100
So this sounds
defense.
Super dumb, but it actually isn't, because you remember like the Cheeto Zard?
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that? Like, the most random stuff can go for a crazy amount of money. So, like, nothing's impossible.
Exactly.
You remember how much that went for? I think it went for like 80 grand or something dumb.
It went for something like that. Yeah. Yeah. I know the owner of the Cheeto Zard, because he made himself public, is like putting together a cool little, you know, Pokemon museum type thing or something like that.
I know Leonhardt is also doing something like that. There's a couple of Pokemon museum-esque exhibit sort of things happening right now, which I think is cool.
Yes,
I think we've reached the point where there's history in that.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to do something similar where for every single day now, I'm going to try to highlight a different card. So I started recently where every single day I just do a short where we're not talking about the value of the card. We're just talking about the card, who drew it, the history behind the card, and the art. That's pretty much it, and I think that's neat.
I think Danny does that sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's a cool design, and
too.
I think Julian, who was on last week's episode, actually inspired me to do that, which I think is really nice because he was talking about the Ninetales, and there are a bunch of cards like that, which are cards that people have seen. People know it's not an invisible card,
Right.
but people don't look at it, like truly look at some of these card art to recognize what's in them. And I think there's a lot of cool cards like that out there that could use some exposure or just some more details around them.
I agree. The Ninetales was definitely something where, I used to look at it as like, oh, it's just a regular AR, but when you really look at the card, it's actually a fantastic artwork. I like that Ninetales a lot.
Yeah. Speaking of just like really cool art, there's a bunch of new TCGs coming out, and we are absolutely in another you and I have talked about this. We're in absolutely another renaissance of TCGs.
Yep.
Is that there was a period of time when there was 3 TCGs that were really, really big or readily available, pretty much. It was Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh,
Pokemon,
and
Yu-Gi-Oh.
and Pokemon. That's pretty much it. All you could find were those 3. And there were a couple of other small ones that tried to rise to the surface, and I don't think they had a lot of like breadth.
Yeah.
But nowadays there's room for that. I've actually seen a couple of videos about people talking about how there's a massive bear market right now, and I could not disagree further.
Yeah, I think, well, was that Rudy from Alpha
Yes.
Investments?
He did a video where the thumbnail was him saying, "Welcome to the bear market."
I think his scope is really just from a lens of Magic the Gathering, though. You know, I know, but not to say he's not aware of like all card markets. I mean, look at what he has in like every single card.
See, I can't even agree if Magic the Gathering is in a bear market, because I'm sure Avatar, which is coming out like a week or 2 after the release of this podcast episode, is probably going to do gangbusters. Like, I can't imagine a world where it does terrible. I don't even think Spider-Man did that bad. Did it do that bad?
It did do bad.
Oh,
so
did it really?
It did do
I
that.
mean, it did.
But okay.
It didn't reach speculative numbers of value.
Correct.
But in terms of Wizard of the Coast numbers, I think they sold out of
I was just talking
Spider-Man.
about this with Hassan, actually. It's kind of funny. I'm sure they did fine, better than what people online would say. So I get what you're saying. It's like, Spider-Man collector boosters are still way expensive. It's not like a booster box is just like $100 or $200, and it'll never be lower. Like, I don't even think Rudy was even saying that. Like, I'm sure he used a more, clickbaity title for the
that's very
algorithm.
much in his style. Sure.
Right. But it's he was definitely spitting facts in the video. And I think it's also like, it's smart of him to pick up as many of those like Spider-Man boxes. Like, I only have, I don't know, like 1 or 2, but it's not really something that I'm as passionate about. I like Spider-Man. There'll be a couple of alt arts that I collect from the set just for like my personal collection. But you can't deny the fact that when other Marvel sets come out in the future, especially when they come out with sets that have the rest of the Soul Stones, or not Soul, the Infinity Stones,
Yeah, right.
that the Spider-Man set will always be the first set where you get the first Infinity Stone, which is the Soul Stone, right?
It's the first Spider-Man set, which they might do more Spider-Man sets. Like, can you imagine in 4 years where we have another like Into the Spider-Verse set where there's just way more in that universe that they can't explore? I think some people were saying that Spider-Man was kind of a weak IP to have a whole entire set based on, which I disagree. I think there's lots that they could do. They just didn't go that deep.
Correct.
Yeah. And something that, you were saying?
Before we jump into like all these other TCGs, it's kind of like the other thing I noticed with Magic was they did another secret layer drop. And you talk about weak IP, right? Like, Spider-Man is probably one of the most popular comic book superheroes on the planet amongst Marvel and DC, just all comic book heroes, right? The fact that people think that that's a weak IP to collab with is ludicrous when they just did like a Sony PlayStation collab where it wasn't even one particular game, but just like a bunch of different Sony IPs. And that secret layer drop apparently like sold out within minutes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even left up very long. And all that just to say, I do see a lot of people online kind of, I don't know, complaining that Magic is, I guess, doing the Fortnite collab thing. You know what I mean by that?
Oh, yeah,
like,
absolutely.
But the Universes Beyond stuff is absolutely killing it for Magic. So I see this like war happening between the Magic the Gathering purists and the people that just like are like, why can't it just be the Magic IP? And the fact that the Universes Beyond stuff is bringing new players in, but I don't think if it was just new players, it would support that much money buying up all the stuff that Magic is like throwing out. I think there's a lot of people that are saying online that they disprove or whatever, but really in actuality, people aren't voting with their dollars. People are still spending money buying Magic stuff. And because of that, it's something where they're just going to keep doing it if it's making them money. Now, you brought up Avatar. I think there are a lot of Avatar Last Airbender fans out there, but I don't know how well the set is going to do. I think you like the Last Airbender.
I'm a big fan of Avatar, and I think it's a large IP, so I'm biased.
Okay.
I will say that.
But what's interesting is, they revealed the chases, like the alt art secret rares.
Oh, I have not seen them. All right, you tell me. Should I be disappointed?
They're not that great. They look okay. They're kind of like not even this art style where there's a lot of texture and I mean, until I see one in person, I'll reserve my judgment until then.
Is there a numbered Aang?
There's no numbered cards. So
why would they take that away?
It's almost
it did so well.
You know what it is? There's like a we've talked about this. They can't do numbered cards in every set because
why not?
Because then they'll dilute the meaning of that. Yeah. The numbered thing was cool for Lord of the Rings, and that's what kicked it off. That was a test for them to see like.
Yeah, and it did insanely well.
Right, but it also
do they hate money?
It plays with the 1-of-1 ring, and I think at the end of the day, they would rather keep that gimmick
in their back pocket.
That's a break glass in case of emergency gimmick. Not to say that like they'll be in trouble the next time they utilize it, but they don't need to do it every set. Like they don't even need to do it for the Infinity Stones. They don't want everyone chasing one Infinity Stone. They want the Infinity Stones to be super, super low pop, but that everyone's, even
like
if
the
one
Chocobos
gets pulled.
Or something.
Yeah, and like people are still
the Chocobos aren't numbered.
This is what I think it's funny. People are still spending 40 grand, 50 grand on the Soul Stone, saying that Spider-Man collector boosters are dead. Like what? You can't, like those booster packs should be like double in price if the grand prize chase is a $50,000 card. Like that's insanity. And that's raw. So, at the end of the day, I think with Avatar, the chases are, they don't have a cool kind of like stone chase or something that's like really elemental and connected to the story of the Last Airbender. Like, it's just kind of like there's an Aang kind of a constellation in the sky image, and then the silhouette of the characters kind of really lit up. That's the best way I could kind of describe it to you since you haven't seen the images. But I don't even think they look as good as like SPs from One Piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think Magic the Gathering has ever done that crazy of like texture. You know what I mean? They've never gone to the level that some of the Japanese sets have, and they should. It's cool. I think they should.
Yeah. I mean, if they just added some texture to a lot of their cards that look like, think about what Julian showed us with those movie poster alt arts. Those look really, really cool. But even then, that's like only from collector boosters. Most people playing the game aren't going to pull those from play boosters. So, it's kind of like, that's where they separate from Pokemon, right? Like these high-end chases can only be found in the top tier product. And that's, if anything, kind of more related to like sports card stuff. And then you want to talk about like sports card stuff. Like I just saw a stream the other day where people were going in on like Topps Chrome SpongeBob and like Dune. Yeah. There's Dune cards. And I'm like, guys, these are going to be worth nothing later.
There's a lot of collectible stuff out there right
exactly
now.
But people just like to collect. I guess if there's a fan of Dune, they're like, open up Dune cards.
I did see that some of the SpongeBob 1-of-1 chases or something of that nature were going for incredible value prices.
I know, right? It's kind of interesting because it's like they can just kind of take any IP and they'll put numbers on cards, and it's like people will just chase the numbers, and they really have the like sports card community wrapped around this like gimmick where at the end of the day, like, I don't know, if you have a card and it looks a certain way and then you make the card red and number it to 5, to me that doesn't make the card $200,000 more expensive.
I'm with you on that.
The image is the image.
I do think the sports numbered system is beyond convoluted.
Right.
Is that you just don't have a 1-of-1. You have a 1-of-10, a 1-of-50, a 1-of-100, a 1-of-200.
There's like 20 1-of-1s. There's like 1-of-1 black, 1-of-1 black chrome. There's a new thing with the Disney stuff that it's like they just made up a color. It's called like Papadasha, Papadashery, Padasharasha. Does someone find the name for it? But I'm like, dude, just call it what it is. It's freaking scarlet pink, or
Yeah,
that's the color.
If you have number card, one number.
One number.
Yeah.
One number. The Mews aren't even numbered, but it's
we
one
just
number
know how
with
many there
how
are.
many
Yeah.
there are.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, if you're going to make 10 of a thing, make it 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10. It's just so it's so random. But all that just to say, to your point still, the fact that people are spending money on those cards when technically 4 or 5, certainly 10 years from now, those cards could be worth nothing. It's just showing how much people want to collect things and like get cards of their favorite IPs.
What I'll say is that, and I think a lot of TCGs go down this route, is they try to make a really complex game, and it doesn't need to be that. And I understand Magic the Gathering purists where they're trying to say like, hey, that's going in a direction that I'm not used to, with throwing in, Final Fantasy, SpongeBob, and all these characters together. What I'll say is that Magic the Gathering and any card game, they're not actually in the business of selling cards, which is crazy. They're in the business of selling fun. Their goal is to sell you something fun. As long as it's fun, that's all people care about.
Right.
Which is why I would say Magic the Gathering has never been more fun. Is that there's just wild, crazy, zany stuff in it, which is what is making it fun. Mm-hmm. At a certain point, I think Magic the Gathering took itself too seriously. And I think Pokemon was in the same space. A couple of years ago, it was like, hey, you play the TCG, and there might be like a random ultra rare inside your pack or something.
I see what you
mean.
mean.
But Pokemon is way more fun now.
Right.
Because
and
of illustration rare and stuff like that.
Right. And Magic is way more fun now. They're willing to like do more fun things and not take themselves as an IP too seriously. I kind of see what you mean there. Yeah. And I would agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Card Lounge will be right back after this brief message from our sponsor.
Jake, do you know what a courtyard is?
Yeah, isn't that the patch of grass in front of my house?
No, Courtyard is the #1 app on the App Store to open up digital slab packs and get real cards delivered to your door.
All right, collectors, what if I told you the thrill to rip open booster packs just moved into your pocket?
Wait, you mean I can rip slabs on my phone?
Exactly. Meet Courtyard.io, the app that turns opening up booster packs into a digital adventure with real graded cards. And Rob, I love a good mystery pack.
Yeah, it's wild. You can buy a digital pack, rip it open right on screen, and instantly reveal real slabs. PSA, CGC, BGS, all vaulted, authenticated, and insured.
And if you pull a really good card, Courtyard actually gives you an instant buyback offer right there. You can sell it back or ship it straight to your door whenever you want.
Guys, I travel so much to conventions, to shows, and it's super nice to be able to just open up Courtyard and open up some mystery slab bags if I want to, get some Pokemon cards. The nice thing is they've got Pokemon cards, sports cards, even comics. I mean, you can just rip a couple packs, see if you get some slabs you like. If I get a slab I don't like, I can just sell it directly back to Courtyard. If I get a slab I do like, I can keep it vaulted, or I can tell them and have them ship it to me, and it'll just show up at my front door in a couple of days.
So just click the link down in the description to check out Courtyard.io today. You can rip them open directly on your computer, or you can download them on the App Store so you can rip open packs on the go. They are available on both the Apple Store and Android.
So download Courtyard.io on your phone or on your computer and let them know that Robo and Jake sent you.
So as we're moving into a couple of other TCGs that have been releasing recently, we've shown off a couple of them. One that I wanted to educate you on was Riftbound. I don't know. Have you ever played League of Legends? You must have.
I did. I think just like any young kid, I mean, certainly
young
in
adult,
high school.
I'll say that.
Yeah, to young adult as well. Like I certainly played it in college. And then I think like any adults that have gotten it. I mean, certainly there's still people that are adults that are still playing it. No knock at anyone still playing League of Legends. I just quit when you know what? I remember when I quit the game. This is the story.
Okay.
I lost a game where I had been 7-0 in lane and I juggernauted, and I'm like, we should win this game. I can kill their whole team solo. Yeah. And then my team just effed it up. They just fed and then I lost. And I said out loud to myself in a room of just me, if I play 5 more games of this toxic game where someone on my team says jungle or feed or like solo mid or I feed and I lose 5 times in a row, I'm going to quit this game forever. And I've been playing since day one. I had all the like characters leveled up. You know, I can't remember what year this was. Maybe I was in college or something. And then I played 5 games in a row and each one was lost because people on that game were so toxic. I don't know if it's better, but they were so toxic. Every game, someone threw a fit through the game, and I lost 5 times in a row. And I immediately turned it off. I uninstalled it on my computer, and I never thought about it again.
I think I haven't played League of Legends in probably 7 years. I think the last time I played it, I was playing for 2 to 3 years straight of only ARAM. Do you know what ARAM is? All random, all mid.
Oh, yeah. That was the fun way to play.
That was the only way I played it for like my last 2 or 3 years of League, and then I just stopped. But since you told me a story of you rage quitting, I'll share mine, and this is the only time the Card Lounge will ever talk about League of Legends in this capacity. Okay. So I'll tell you my story is that in a match like 8 years ago, right, I had a Vlad on my team who is a champion that can heal himself, all right? And I was so angry because he was losing. And I was like, dude, it's not that hard, man. It's not that hard, all right? And I was trying to explain to him. What he was doing was that he's at full health, and he would press W. And W is a move that turns Vlad into a pool of blood. And it cost him 20% of his health to just do that.
I remember this.
And I was like, why would you do that? Stop using your only escape move, which is he makes him impervious. He becomes a pool of blood. He can run escape. But to use it at full health to just inch yourself, which is hurt yourself. Like it doesn't help you in any way to lose 20% of your health. And then he would just not have an escape and then he would die.
Right.
And I was trying to help him, but you can never chat in League of Legends. There's no world where you help someone. Right. So I was like, Vlad, what are you doing?
So you were helping him, and then he got mad at you, and then fed, and then you lost, right?
That's just League of Legends.
Yeah.
But anyway, so League of Legends released a TCG. It's actually been a long time coming.
Yes.
Is that they
with
released
30% less toxicity.
Kind of. We'll see. I don't know how much the locals are going to be. You and I are probably going to go to a local of this game at some point in time. Just because we love TCG, and we are going to be giving away the 2 decks on the screen. So if you are interested in playing some League of Legends Riftbound, you are going to be able to get yourself a Lee Sin deck and a Victor deck. Are you aware of these champs? Do these recognize you?
I do recognize them. I remember Lee Sin. These are like tanks, right? Or at least Lee Sin was a tank. And and guys, these have booster packs inside them as well.
Yeah,
so
there's a booster pack of Riftbound, and you can play with these 2 decks. So if you would like to win yourself some Riftbound League of Legends champion decks, all you got to do is leave a comment down in the description and be sure to subscribe to the Card Lounge podcast. And so I've been playing a little bit of Riftbound. Yeah. And what I can tell back to our viewers is that it's very similar to Magic. There's 6 colors. Magic has 5 colors. One Piece has a bunch of colors. So a lot of these colors are not surprising. They are absolutely taking a lot of inspiration from other TCGs. For instance, red is the aggro color. That does not surprise you. Blue is the draw a lot of cards, and it's very intellectual color.
That's always how the colors go.
Right.
It's always funny how the colors... But I guess it makes sense. I like it that way.
There's clearly color identity here, and they match the color identities that players are used to. So I'm bringing these up because you wouldn't be surprised by these kind of color identities. And the thing about Riftbound is that every single deck is 2 colors. It's kind of like One Piece, except all the leaders in here are double color. There is no single color leaders. And the game does play similar to what it's so close to Magic the Gathering in actuality, is that there's a lot of summoning of units. There's a lot of summoning of units. There's a lot of casting of spells. There is runes, which are just your Dawn or mana pool. It's like your islands or lands inside of Magic the Gathering, and it's similar to Dawn. You get 2 every single turn, up to a maximum of 12. Very similar. I would say my issue with Riftbound, after playing multiple games of it, is that it's too complex for a starter set right now.
Really?
It's not fun. And I think this is the thing.
It's not fun? Wait, I've heard it's fun from people.
It is fun, but it's too complex. And that's the issue of it, is that the complexity takes away from the fun, is that there's too many tedious details that you, as the player, has to remember.
That was the issue with My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
I remember learning that game, and the like attack thing and the low, mid, high, trying to make it like a fighting game. Whenever you try to adapt a video game to a card game, people like to keep the video game mechanics. Like I know there's like a 3-lane thing, and I pulled a Nocturne card for someone on my stream, and I saw that it had ganking on it, and I was like, wow, this is certainly in 2025 we got a TCG card that has ganking on it before GTA 6 came out. That's wild.
Yeah, so I'll say this, okay? The card game, I think it currently has like a dozen keywords. You know what keywords are. There are different abilities. Like ganking is one.
And ganking's one?
Right.
Right.
So there's a dozen of them, and I think that's too many for a starter set.
Wow.
For new players to learn a dozen unique different ways that a character can interact, like accelerate or charge or impact or guard. Like there's too many.
Are they already stuff that maybe TCG people would know? Like
Yes.
is accelerate the same thing as like rush essentially?
Kind of.
Or like you can attack and ignore summoning sickness for the turn?
Right. So you're correct. It's it's stuff that people are used to, except that there's too many of them to remember all at once. Is that if you're a brand new player, the fact that you can't sit down and have an easy game. There's too many what if questions. You know, I can sit down and pretty much explain to someone how to play One Piece in one game, and they would get it very quickly.
I get it. Even with the basic starter decks, like there's a but you're saying even with the simplest cards and the simplest deck built, my deck versus your deck for a very basic Riftbound deck, there'd still be a lot of complicated questions.
Correct. You'll ask me, what about this scenario? And I'll say, oh, it depends. And that's not a good thing to hear. Is like, okay,
correct.
if this happens and this happens, if that happens and that
for
happens.
a set one of a TCG, you want it to be as kind of easy as possible. Not like so dumbed down, but easy with just math mechanics and stuff, so that there's early adoption. So anyone could play, from a 6, 7, 8-year-old to a 25-year-old.
Yeah. So another thing is that there's a lot to remember. At the start of your turn, there's actually enough tedious activity that you have to do before your turn even starts. The basics of it is that, you have to count if there's any points that you were added to your hold or your battle arena. That sounds confusing already. You have to reset all of your cards to active. Another thing. If there's any cards that has an active effect, you have to remember that active effect is happening and do that active effect. I was watching multiple games of Riftbound, even from seasoned players. Someone designed the game, was sitting down and playing it.
And forgot his...
Correct. They forgot to do certain things because there's too many things to keep track of in the game.
Would it be fair to say that if they had made this a virtual card game, or like a card game that was a digital game, it would be more fun or easier because it's made from a video game anyway, and the video game version of the card game, kind of like Hearthstone, would just take care of maybe a lot of the mechanics or effects that like should just happen, whereas since it's a card game in the in IRL, you have to remember those things.
Yep. You're exactly right. The thing is, though, League of Legends already created a digital card game, which is called Legends of Runeterra. So they made a digital Hearthstone. If you didn't know that, it exists and it died. It didn't do very well.
Of that.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't they just make Riftbound the better version? Wait, so they made a digital card game?
Yeah. So League of Legends already made a digital card game, and it was very similar to a couple of other card games, similar to Hearthstone and all of that, but it didn't do really well. It was really good in terms of like the amount of work they put into it.
Yeah.
The sound quality was great. The animation was great. Everything was great. The game was okay. Like, it just didn't hit on the fun. That's what I want to talk about, is that it's not that this card game is bad. It's that it's lacking in the fun.
Okay. But is it the lacking of the fun? And guys, we'll relate this to like Pokemon cards and like what we know about cards in general, because I want to get your just like rating X out of 10 on where you think this fits, especially comparing it to like, if we pretend like, say, Pokemon is a 10 out of 10 card game, or maybe, I don't know,
I would
8
not
or
say
9.
Pokemon is a 10 out of 10.
Fair. Yeah, me neither, actually, just based off of like certain gameplay mechanics. But if we're talking like Riftbound comparatively, like when you say fun, assuming you could learn all the rules with a buddy and you mastered the mechanics though, is it fun to actually like battle back and forth? Like, is there moments where you're like, oh, if I draw this card, I can come back from losing? And there's like, like One Piece is very much like that. And in that, I think what makes it fun is that you can feel like you're winning, but if your opponent is smart and plays things in the right thing, suddenly the tables can turn. But then if you figure out that they're turning the tables, you can adjust how you're playing and turn the tables again. And it makes for this very like, entertaining, bout, kind of like chess, right? And that's why chess is so successful.
Right. So I agree with that in that I think out of all the recent TCGs I play, I agree with you in that I think One Piece is the most fun I've had. Yeah. I would give it a solid like 9 out of 10. Maybe not like a perfect card game, but it's really, really fun to just play One Piece. Yeah. Even as a beginner level, you'll have fun.
Correct.
Right. And that's part of why One Piece
is doing
did so well is because it's just fun. Correct. Forget about everything else. It's fun?
A fun
right.
game. Yeah.
So I would say like, I don't know, Pokemon maybe like a 7. Pokemon's not even a bad TCG right now. It's actually solid. You can sit down and play. Too much shuffling. That's what I'll say about
Too much shuffling. Yep.
Pokemon. Magic the Gathering, I would give, some people would diss me for this. I would say maybe Magic the Gathering is like a 6. I think Magic the Gathering is too complex for me. There's too much.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I see what you're saying. I mean, one-on-one, I guess you could say there's a lot of like sweaty matchups. I guess what's made Magic so fun in the last couple of years is Commander, right? People have a lot of fun.
Commander is a lot of fun, but that's because you are playing with 4 people
and
it's just the interaction happening with them. So Riftbound does do that too, where you can play 4-person Riftbound. Like you can have 4 people sit around and play 4-person Riftbound, which is kind of interesting is that they thought about the commander element, which is why I say it's very similar to Magic right now. Mm-hmm. And I will say Riftbound is just a level below that, which is unfortunate because for a new card game, you have to be better than your competitor, right? If you want people to play Magic the Gathering, switch over to Riftbound, which I think they're trying to compete with. Yeah. Riftbound is in no way trying to steal Pokemon Thunder. You know what I'm trying to say?
Trying to steal Magic Thunder?
Oh, absolutely. With the way that they are releasing right now, with the target audience that they are trying to capture, with the way that they are attacking locals, the way that they are doing Nexus Nights, which is their version of Friday Night Magic.
Yes, okay. You know what? I think you're right because it's funny. I also saw Jimmy, who's like, doesn't he do a lot of Magic?
Oh yeah,
the Gathering content. He made a whole video on Riftbound, and I remember one of the top comments was like, "How much are they paying you to say this?" And he was like, I'm not disclosing that this is an ad in my comments. Like he just made basically the perfect ad for Riftbound just for free because he's interested. He's a big Magic player, but I guess maybe he's probably played a lot of League of Legends in his life, and now he's excited about playing Riftbound. So I do see a lot of the Magic community really like wanting to adopt or try this game, at least more so than hearing from other Pokemon players being like, oh, I'm going to go try
Yeah, I don't think
Riftbound.
A lot of, maybe some One Piece players and Pokemon players and those players will switch over because they just love TCGs, We love TCGs.
I don't even think, yes, I mean, they'll try it because they love TCGs. I think the people that will move over to playing Riftbound are the people that really love League of Legends.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, the IP and what it, like, brings out in you. And I mean, that's exactly why Pokemon has stood the test of time, even not being this like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 card game, right? Is the fact that Pokemon has the nostalgia factor. So even though it's not a perfect card game, people will play it. And there's more people playing Pokemon than ever before right now, which is, crazy.
Yeah, so there is some of that. There's some crazy chase cards. I think they're doing a good job of that. The texturing on the top chase cards inside of Riftbound are great. I think they're actually better than like the Magic chase cards, if that makes sense, because of the texturing and detail. They almost kind of remind me of Weiss Schwarz because they have the artist signature on them.
Yeah.
You remember how Weiss Schwarz cards on the anime characters have like an autograph on them?
So, wait, but those are the voice actor. Wait, they have the artist signature on the top chase cards?
Yeah.
Because I saw someone pull the Teemo alt art and it had the signature on it.
Yeah, it's the artist signature, which I think is neat because you're focusing on the art, If they can you imagine if they did like a Charizard SIR and it had Mitsuhiro Arita's embellish autograph on that. That would do really well.
There already is a card like that.
Oh,
There's that, the Mew has that.
It has Mitsuhiro Arita's autograph on it?
How do you, the Battle Festa Mew.
There's
a
I
Mew.
See what you mean.
There's a Mew where he's kind of floating off to the side.
Okay.
And his tails.
I get that.
Do you know which one I'm talking
Right.
about? Yeah. And the holo looks really good on it. I mean, it's a card that I would want in my collection, but I think it's a rare card.
Right. And people like autograph cards, which is why they're the top chase cards in a lot of different TCGs.
Right. Like the One Piece Otisig has just been like climbing ever since like One Piece caught on fire. And I think One Piece caught on fire just like, it did when One Piece first came out because Pokemon was like getting way too expensive. A lot of people got kind of priced out of stuff. And then you could start to see the money sort of transition to One Piece. And now there were like, there was mangas that were all under 1,000 that I remember thinking like, this seems way too cheap for the top chase. You know, a card that you would have to open 12 to 14 cases of product to pull one time. And then now you see these cards going for like double, triple, quadruple where they were sitting at even just 7 months ago. It's wild.
So to just close out our conversation on Riftbound, there are big chase cards. I think they're going for like $1,000 for the top chase cards, and you can pull them out of booster boxes, which is just required nowadays for a top tier CCGs. You got to have a big chase card. But for a fun scale, I give it a 5 out of 10 right now for me. I'm still going to play Riftbound. I think I told you, but I'm going to enter a Las Vegas tournament in like 3 weeks where...
So you have to get good?
Yeah, I got to get good at Riftbound in 3 weeks because I'm entering a $10,000 tournament.
Is there still space in that tournament?
Yeah, if you want to join me.
All right, I don't know if I have time to get good at this game too, but
it'd be just fun to enter just to learn and experience
that's true.
it. You're welcome to go to.
You know what? We should do a pre-release, and then if the pre-release is fun, then I'll consider it. I just want to see if the game is fun.
Yeah.
But wait, let's tell everyone that's tuned in what we think. Do we think the game, like how it compares to Pokemon? Does it take a divot in Pokemon's like chunk of the pie in being like, you know, the TCG supremacy, like the king of the hill?
Okay, so I'll say this. Okay, why don't you start?
The reason so this is one thing to consider for everyone, you know, listening. Let us know in the comments below if you're excited about Riftbound, if you're a League of Legends player or not. If you're not a League of Legends player, I assume that this card game might not even interest you, and that kind of goes into my point. I think Pokemon the card game has done so well because Pokemon the video game was quite literally one of the first quote unquote viral things even before the internet that existed in human existence, right? It is hard to replicate that kind of lightning in a bottle thing ever again. And now with social media and the internet, there's nothing really that could almost reach that popularity because we're almost too exposed to everything all at once in the world. All that just to say, I think Riftbound, when I was going through some of the cards, I felt kind of bored with the commons and uncommons.
Absolutely.
The top chases are cool, but it seems like how the game is played, you have these like unit cards, and the unit cards are just like, I don't know.
Dude. It's a dude.
It's
a knight.
Two dudes. Yes. Knight dude. Brute dude.
Yeah.
Ancestral ghost. And it's just like a little ghost girl swinging on a swing.
Sure.
You know, and it's just like, what are these? These cards don't really mean anything to me, or I don't even care when I look at them. They don't, you know, and at least with Pokemon, what I'll say is people forget, you know, like when everyone's chasing the top hits, it's really hard to just kind of ignore or really hard to look at. You know, people often ignore the commons and the uncommons, but at the end of the day, they're still there, and they're still a Pokemon that people care about. And they don't skimp on the artwork. Each common card, each uncommon, each regular rare is still an artist putting their blood, sweat, and tears on the line to make it. No, I'm serious. Like,
I'm with you. I'm just like, man, you are such a Pokemon spokesperson right now. They should pay you, honestly.
Think about like the Tomokazu Komoya Sandshrew, right? Yeah. It's just a regular Sandshrew artwork, but the artwork is amazing. And I think at the end of the day, where I see League or Riftbound going is just like Lorcana. Like, first set is hot. Second set, it's probably going to cool down a bit. But a year or two from now, and then this is the other thing. Pokemon can keep recreating cards of Pokemon and adding new Pokemon. Why do people have a nostalgic connection to Riftbound? You play League of Legends with what? The champions, right?
Right.
Okay, so how many total champions are there? Like, you know Lee Sin, you know Teemo. I stopped playing the game after, like, I think I mained Vayne and I jungled with Nocturne. I pulled the Nocturne card.
I'm just going to guess. I don't know if I'm right on the number. It's probably like right around 140 champions. That's my guess.
Okay, that's insane. Then they've added a lot more.
It's a lot, but it's not that many, right?
Right.
It's a lot, but it's still a limited number of characters.
It's a limited number of characters, and it's a character thing where, like, I think in the game they constrict themselves because the champions are like leaders, are they not? Like, Jinx is a leader.
Yeah. So, but I will say, One Piece is also a limited IP, but they've been able to really stretch how many times they can make a Luffy card. You know what I mean?
Okay, no, but they make so there's a ton of ways that they can remake or they can do the Luffy cards and the Sanji cards, the Zoro cards, but I want to say there's a whole world of One Piece characters that they really draw from to make all these like gorgeous artworks. And I don't think League of Legends has enough to really care. Also, what helps with that is you can refer to the anime and people can watch the anime and really fall in love with these characters. I don't think, unless it's like top characters that people enjoy playing with, there's going to be that much kind of a nostalgic connection to a lot of the characters. So unless the artwork is like amazing, it's like kind of like who cares, like I don't think people are going to want to collect every Teemo card unless they like really, really love playing Teemo and for whatever reason they really, identify themselves with a connection with that character. Does that make sense?
No, I fully agree with you. And this is something that's always been Pokemon's strength, is that you're right, is that it's one of the very few IP that can get away with printing a common card that people still care about.
Right.
Which is if you print a common Pikachu or a common Eevee, that's still cool to someone.
People will still want to collect that Pikachu's, Eevees. And then it's really like any Pokemon card, because we make fun of sometimes like other common cards, but there is someone out there where that Pokemon is their favorite Pokemon, right?
So, I got some PSA 10 common Eevees. Come get me, guys.
Yeah, you got those. You also like just started you got all those PSA 10 Buzzswolls. And that's a funny Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
But when they created it, you can't tell me they had this thought of like, oh, Buzzswole is going to be this like fan favorite thing.
I don't think they know what's going to be like a fan favorite Pokemon, but once the consumer resonates with it, they're like, oh, we should focus on what people like. They threw out some Pokemons like Spitball style, and if there's some that people start liking, like, oh, you guys really like Mimikyu? Okay, we'll use that one. Because every single generation, they do create a new electric rodent, if you know that. They always have like Pleso and Minun, Emolga. You remember?
Pachirisu.
Yeah, and some of them pop off. Some of them die and wither away. Yeah, but if they pop off, then they can
focus on that. Yeah, they just really need to like keep trying stuff, and they keep making stuff, but they can always keep creating a new gen of stuff. And I just don't know if League of Legends has enough gas in the tank for like a nostalgic connection like that.
I'll give it, so the true test of any TCG is the 2-year mark, is that after 2 years, it either dies or it stays long term. Is 2 year, because you're right, is that usually for any new release TCG, people are excited. It's something new. I get to try it out, rip open a couple of booster boxes, and I remember Riftbound boxes are really expensive right now, even though they did print a ton, and they are still planning on printing a ton.
They did that expensive. Smart. I'll say that. We talked about this. It was smart of them to print a lot of Riftbound boxes, because it's not like Gundam where the supply is constricted. I mean, speaking of fan favorite characters, and like, look at that TCG. Everyone was so hyped for that, but it's like, I don't think there was enough product out there for enough people to get their hands on it. And when people can't get their hands on it, they just don't care about it, after set 1, set 2. So.
Yeah, so that's execution, which is a lot of card games come out, and there are people that would be interested in it, are curious about it, but they just never got product. For instance, I never got into Lorcana, even though I wanted to, but because if you remember base set Lorcana, it was like not available for like a year.
Right. And now, dude, they're still printing Lorcana base set 1.
But I don't want it anymore.
No, exactly.
Right? And they missed the boat.
And Lorcana people are complaining now, where it's like, oh, now you're printing more, but now it's just over flooding the market, and now there's too much of set 1. It's like you can't just keep printing it, because then people won't care about it, because then it's it's like we talked about, it's human psychology. Once it's everywhere, then no one wants it. You really have to do, as a business, a good job of towing that line, of making enough product where it's available to everyone, plus or minus some delta for like scalper interaction, but also, don't over flood the market to where then even non-scalper people are like, I don't want this, because if you over flood, scalpers definitely don't want it. And then all the people that cry about scalpers, like half the people online that are just like, oh, you're, taking it away from me. There's definitely a lot of players that are serious when they say that, but there's definitely a lot of people that are just saying that. But if it was, and when Pokemon was readily available to them, they weren't buying it and they weren't getting it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. I think you just brought up Lorcana. I didn't even think about that. Isn't that game already 2 years old?
Yeah.
And you want to talk about League of Legends and having nostalgic characters? Lorcana has Mickey Mouse and all of Disney. And even that TCG failed. Like, I guess they're still printing.
I won't knock them out yet. But yes, most card games, it's hard to last after a certain period of time.
Like, people aren't talking about it. Whenever I go to like Targets or Walmarts, there's definitely Lorcana on the shelves more than like, I want to say any other card game. Even more than like Yu-Gi-Oh!
If
Magic.
Riftbound were to fail, it's not because of the lack of execution. Because you and I were talking, they are doing that right. Is that you and I can go to locals. There are locals for Riftbound every single week until like the end of the year. We just know there's a ton of places that you can go and play, which is good. There's places playing it. There's tournaments happening. There's regionals happening. People
and they're putting big money behind those tournaments.
Yeah, there's big money behind the tournaments. There's upcoming tournaments, which is one of the reasons why the boxes are actually kind of expensive, even though they printed a ton, and they're still printing a ton. It's because people want to get every single competitive card because there is an event for them to go to. You're right. There's a goal, because if there wasn't a tournament coming up, you wouldn't need to buy the cards immediately. But people feel the need to buy all these cards. So the most expensive Riftbound cards, even though they're not the most high rarity chases, like random rare and common cards are even going for $5, $10, $15. It felt kind of like the early One Piece day. You remember that? When just random, really competitively viable cards can be like a $20 or $40 card just because people need it for
in
upcoming
their decks.
events.
You need 4 of them in your decks.
So the only thing that I would say about Riftbound is that it will not fail because of the lack of support. There's plenty of support. It will fail because people don't enjoy the card game in 2 years, because people are going to play the most fun game for them. You know, they're not going to play the second game just because there's not enough energy or focus to play too many TCGs.
People
you're
going
to play what you're going to have the most fun with.
People don't have enough time. People don't have enough money in their wallets to collect Pokemon, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic, and then Riftbound. Like, this was one of the things why MetaZoo failed, right? It was just like you really have to, I guess to your point, you have to be the best or do something a little different. And I think One Piece did that really, really well. I guess, we'll see how Riftbound turns out in a year or two from now. I don't know if the IP is as strong as I would give the IP kind of like a 5 out of 10. Oof. if we're playing.
I think that's a little weak. I would give it like a 7, just because in terms of like IP, I think it has enough recognizability out there.
That's true. Is it one of the it's one of the more popular? It is the most popular MOBA game.
Yeah. So is in terms of recognizability, I think for the target audience they're going for, it's recognizable, and that's why it's doing well right now and at release.
I'll also say this. I guess we see Lorcana as a like failed TCG, and I guess it's like not really. I mean, there's still Disney fanatics out there that I'm sure collect and play the game. Like, no, this is no hate to anyone that plays Lorcana competitively or even casually goes to their game stores every week and plays Lorcana. I just think like, there would have to be more players, or it would have to have more of a buzz in the TCG like hobby for me to consider it like a successful card game. But I mean, from a business standpoint, they're putting pictures on cardboard that probably cost them 4 cents a card, and they're selling packs for like $4.99 or $5.99. Like if they just sell 50% of their supply of packs and it net profits them like, I don't know, what, $10 million, and to make all the cards it costs them $6 million. Like, I'm sure the numbers are much bigger, but you know what I mean? Like, if it's profitable for them, then I guess that's a success, right? So I'm sure Lorcana is still profitable for Disney, and they still have, so much like IP they can tap into.
Yeah. If anything were to happen to Lorcana in terms of how it dies, it would be a slow death in that, every single week or two, one less person shows up to their local.
Yes.
And over time, it
It'll
just slowly dies a quiet death where people just say, oh, you remember that time when we used to play Lorcana? Now we would play One Piece or Pokemon or something else.
Which I think is what happened to Universe's TCG. Like, I think My Hero Academia. Like, it was just like, maybe some people really got into it. I'm sure there was some
I think that's another one.
If
that's the whole entire IP, I don't think that's enough. it's very hard for
It's a
a
popular
card game to
anime.
base off of just one anime. One Piece made it work, but One Piece is literally the biggest
best.
anime
I get it,
IP. You
but
know,
it
that's
is-
hard.
I mean, My Hero is an anime that has a ton of characters.
Dragon Ball's the other one that's big enough. Those
yeah.
are the two I would say big enough. Well, I guess Pokemon's also an anime.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
But,
so maybe there's a couple.
but see, okay, but you know what? You just touched on the point. I think before you make a card game, you have to have this anime or this show that really allows people to fall in love with the characters.
You can't start a new card game
Out of
based off
nowhere.
an original IP. Like, that's insane.
It's insane because people don't have a reason to chase the cards, or like they're not connected to any of the characters. You know what? I did forget. I guess League of Legends does have Arcane on Netflix, but I don't know how much that show is like. I don't know, like how many characters are portrayed in that show that really connect with people that then people would go, oh, I'm going to collect the cards of that character. Does that make sense?
No, I agree with you in that I don't know how much League it has. Right now, I would say its biggest failure is that I played it and I didn't have fun. So if you guys had played Riftbound and you had fun, that's completely okay. But I played it, and I'm still going to go and compete with it. And I hope that at one point I will just say, I get it. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? I can just say, oh, I get it now. It's fun for me. But right now, I'd say it's okay. Like, I'm doing okay, but I'm not having the best of time. Card Lounge will be right back after this brief message from our sponsor, Collectr.
This episode of the Card Lounge podcast is sponsored by Collectr, the #1 collecting app.
Collectr is the official trading card tracking app of the Card Lounge podcast. Both Rob and I have been using Collectr constantly to track our whole entire collection. I can't stop looking at it because the prices on cards right now are absolutely wild. People have seen it. Prices are going up and down. And if you're currently tracking your Pokemon card prices on a spreadsheet, guys, you are so far behind the time. You have it in the palm of your hand.
Right. Everyone's already on their phone anyway. It makes it so easy to share and look up updates. It's kind of funny, dude. I just went to my closet and found some stuff that I wasn't tracking anywhere. I used to put stuff on a spreadsheet, but you know, we're so busy now and it's like I can never have time to update things constantly. I added that stuff to the Collectr app and then my collection went up like another like $20,000.
Yeah, that's absolutely the power of Collectr, is that a lot of times, even if you don't know the card you're looking at, the Collectr app has a scanning feature where you can just check out your card through a camera and they will tell you what card you have.
Yeah, it just makes it easier also on you guys. Like, it gives you peace of mind to let you know what your collection is valued at. You might not know like when your collection goes up 10 grand. You might not know when it drops like 5 grand. Maybe you would like to have this kind of information and that might let you know when you should, sell some stuff, buy some stuff, you know, all these cards in your collection, plus even the sealed product that you guys, you know, collect and maybe store away for years or, you know, a certain amount of time. You can always track it all on Collectr.
Yeah, and I actually have some cards that I have favorited on Collectr so that if they ever drop down, I'm currently watching them so that if they fall down to the right price, I'll know when to scoop them up. And if you don't want to just collect Pokemon cards and you're currently collecting Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, or any other trading card game, you can track it all right now on the Collectr app, bundle your whole entire collection, and know what your collection's value is currently worth.
Yeah. I like the fact that you can see the combined collection value and you can also separate between categories. So I know like what my Pokemon collection is worth and then what my One Piece slabs are worth as well.
That's right. And you can also separate it by sets too. If you're someone that's a completionist and want to know exactly what cards you're missing from certain sets, Collectr is also great for that. So definitely check them out. They are a fantastic tool, whether you're the first time collector, someone that's just started a couple weeks ago, or if you're someone that's been inside of the hobby for the past 10 years, Collectr has something for you. Check them out today. They are available for download on Android and iOS.
Thank you to Collectr for sponsoring today's episode of the Card Lounge podcast. Here's a good segue as far as like for fun for you in Pokemon right now. Do we think this kind of, I know we talked about this a little bit off cam, but like the market has seen a little bit of a pullback. And when we say pullback, we just mean it just isn't steaming like just going all full steam ahead, growing week over week, where like, you know, prices for things are increasing 20%, you know, every couple of days. That was kind of insane the last couple of months. But do we think that the hype stops here right before the big Charizard set, Phantasmal Flames? I think when Phantasmal Flames drops, it's just going to be mayhem. And I do think if Pokemon was smart and they had enough time to get ahead of this. They didn't have enough time to fix it for Prismatic Evolutions SPCs, but if they print those Phantasmal Flames UPCs to oblivion, we're just going to see like I don't know, just everyone being able to get a hold of cards again and like everyone pulling Charizards. But I don't know, that might actually kill some of the hype for it being too obtainable.
Which is okay with me. Like, I'm fine with the market cooling down quite a bit. And that is actually happening. Like, for sure, I don't know if you've heard this, but for sure, Costco is going to get some additional Prismatic SPCs and Charizard UPCs added to their stores. I don't know when it's going to happen, but they are going to have them.
It's
and they
Black
will
Friday.
I'm not sure if it'll be this Black Friday. It might be next Black Friday.
Wait, next as in 2026?
Yes, because
no, it's this Black Friday.
There's a couple of reasons why I don't think it's this Black Friday. I would love for it to be this Black Friday. The reasons I don't think it's this Black Friday is because I don't know if the Pokemon Company would allow Costco to sell their brand new release Charizard UPCs at a discount, you know?
I think that's what they're doing.
If they do that, that's fantastic. I'm down for it.
I think that's what they're allowing them to do. They're literally they're going to allow them to sell it for under MSRP.
Yeah, if the Charizard UPC goes to Costco on Black Friday and they would sell them for $89.99, which I think is the price that Costco would do it at, that'd be great for the community, you know?
Would it though? Because I get it would be great for the collector, but are the collectors going to be the ones at Costco getting them, or are we going to see a war amongst the scalpers of like civil war level, like scalper groups and different like what do you call them? The scalper gangs like they're gonna go to war for at Costco's.
Yeah, so it's up to how the stores do it. I think a lot of Costco's, they start doing those things where they actually wait in line and it's actually peaceful and it's like one per membership or something of that nature. It's easier for them to track compared to a place like Walmart. You did a story on that recent experience with scalpers where they just purchase a bunch of tins at a Walmart, right?
Correct. So, but that's what I mean. I don't know if every Costco abides by the same rules, just like that Walmart clearly, didn't even like one guy. And, the fact that the guy even self-admitted that he didn't even live in the city kind of is a tell that he was tipped off to show up right there at that time on that date to buy that purchase. There's no way a non-local is going to hit a restock at the perfect time and just know to buy everything unless it's being backdoored.
I fully agree. And I don't know how much integrity Costco has, but at least the idea is that they have the potential to do that. It's limit one per membership. It's got some barriers in place that could stop it, in terms of botting online. If you need to sign up for a Costco membership to just purchase one, are you really going to buy 100 Costco membership? I don't know how the botters do it. Maybe they have a little bit more challenge going through, but in general, adding more products to the market right now is just good. And and I was sharing you about this. Have you seen the prices on the Phantasmal Flame chase cards? They're kind of insane right now, even in the pre-sale market.
Okay, because people already have Phantasmal Flames. There's Pokemon pre-releases happening.
Yeah, so there's Pokemon pre-releases happening right now.
Is the SIR Charizard selling for close to $2,000?
Close. So right now, the raw prices for the Charizard SIR, I think, is going for $1,700 to $1,800 on eBay. That's a lot for a single card. That's more expensive than the Sunbreon.
Is that more expensive for a card coming out in a brand new set? The most expensive launch price of any card in the last 10 years?
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing. There's actually been some graded PSA 10s of the new Charizard SIR of the Phantasmal Flames. There's already graded copies.
So they rush jobbed it, which means they already are at like $400 or $500 for grading fees, but then if it's selling for $2,000 raw, they probably got upcharged around
I don't know.
$200.
See, I don't know how PSA values a brand new card from a set that is not released yet. You know what I mean? I'm sure they still spent a ton of money to grade that card because they want to get it back immediately,
right? So
that they can maximize their value because you need to sell that card ASAP.
Well, how much is a PSA 10? Did one sell a PSA 10?
Yeah, I think it sold for right around $3,500 to $4,000.
$4,000 right out the gate.
Yeah, which is a lot of money, but whoever got that, they're still going to lose a lot of value because I don't think it's going to be $4,000 for long, right? It's probably going to go down after a couple months.
Correct. You know what's so funny? If the Burger Chew sold for $21,000 in a black label, the first person to black label the English SIR Charizard is going to make out like a bandit. They are going to get so much money. I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah. So I'll tell this to the viewers right now is that I agree with you is that if you have a brand new card and you think it has any potential of being a black label, I would recommend you grade it with BGS, even if you don't care about BGS. You know what I mean? Because I think the value added for that black label is so high, you should just try for it.
There is like it's almost like, are we pricing in, okay, do we think the person that spent $21,000 on the black label Burger Chew, the first one, is a moron? Or do we just think that, like, did they really think, oh, this will be the only time to get it? This is actually probably going to be cheap because later it'll be a $40,000 black label. I can almost see an argument for English and for hollow and texture on the Charizard SIR. I don't know if buying it early is the smart play or not. It's going to be expensive, but you know what? People made fun of the guy that bought the first black label Dodgers Luffy, the pitching Luffy.
And how much did he pay for it?
I think it was around 10 Gs, if I remember correctly.
I think they're going for right around 15, maybe 20 right now.
The black label?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many black labels there are in circuit. I know it's low pop, but I know after the Dodgers won the Super Bowl. Did I just say Super Bowl? What is it? What's baseball's Super Bowl?
Oh, God, dude, I have no idea.
Okay, you're in this with me now.
Let me Google it for you.
Are we really going to just sit here and waffle over
the World Series?
The World Series,
I
yes.
just thought of it.
Yes. The World Series. 3, 2, 1, the World Series. Are we going to leave this in?
Yes, it's in.
Yes, it's in.
3, 2, 1, World Series.
All right, so
that's a meme now.
After the Dodgers won the Super Bowl World Series, then I could see how anything related to Shohei Ohtani's going up. But of course, that being like such an iconic, like you have the Luffy in the Dodgers hat. It's drawn by Oda. It's technically kind of like the first baseball card / TCG. Like it is the first true sports card TCG card. I mean, I guess there was that soccer one that happened before.
Oh, there's a ton of sports cards collab with other TCGs.
No,
it's
but
been
not,
done before.
But not like this. Not like they gave out like this was like this is like a baseball card, but it's also like a TCG card. Like it's really like a first time like sports card grail with a TCG grail combined. I don't think like them giving out the Pikachu with the Rain City stamp. Oh yeah, because actually that's an image that's already been used and they just put a stamp on it. This was a unique artwork drawn by Oda.
You don't have to pump it up. It's already expensive.
No, I'm saying drawn by the creator
I agree.
of
It's
One
a cool
Piece
card.
For the baseball game.
Yeah.
He's like, let me draw you my main character and let me draw a Dodgers hat on his head. Well, on the straw hat and then on his head. That's a big deal. No, I don't think there's been a sports card collab like that with Pokemon or any other TCG.
I can't confirm nor deny that. And the only reason I can't is just because a lot of, baseball cards and sports cards, they have a lot of dumb gimmicks in them. So it's not impossible for them to collab with something. Who knows when?
No, well, that's why they'll like this card too.
No, I think it is a super cool card.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's a great collab. I think it's a gorgeous card.
Yeah, you don't think baseball card collectors that collect the Dodgers collect Shohei Ohtani?
I just don't know if it's the first collab. That's all. I do think it's a super cool collab. Like I said, it's already like a super expensive card.
They're definitely trying to collect the card because I do remember seeing something like some news article where like as soon as they won the World Series, people were thinking, oh, it's going to take a year before that card reaches like $2,000 in a PSA 10. And then all of the copies on eBay just got bought up immediately. And now I think, I don't know, the cheapest listed is probably like 2.5, 2.6.
I worry about that a little bit in that, when it's bought because of the news, I do think that kind of activity could peter out. Is that people are really excited about it. It's immediate, the Dodgers won the World Series, but then you go to work the next day and you come off your high.
Yeah.
And then you're like, Was that really worth that much?
I get it.
And it sort of goes back down, not to a lower level, but it goes to a middle ground, you know?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it might, you know, have like a little bit of a pullback, but I think with how big baseball is worldwide, I think with how big baseball is in Japan and the fact that the main guy right now is Shohei and he's Japanese and it's the pitching Luffy and he's the pitcher, it's just like, it's just too much. And there are more like, and then I mean, it's not even just Japanese people, like Asian fans in general are just like rooting for this guy. He's also like an Asian, you know, professional baseball player, of which it's not like there was too many of them.
I have one regret, and
What?
I'm going to tell you this regret, and I think you remember it, is that I was talking with you, and we almost went in on a one-of-one Shohei Ohtani anime card that was available for auction, I think, like 2 or 3 months ago. And
wait, his anime card? No,
yeah.
that would be a lot of money then.
oh yeah, I'll show it to you.
How much did it sell for?
I think it sold for 15 grand, something like that. It was in a neighborhood that was too high for me to go in by myself.
But together we could have gone in.
And yes, if that
Dude, I would have
card
gone in on a
would have been
one-on-one.
worth like, I don't know, maybe like 40 grand now or something. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
But it would have been a super cool card to have for the purpose of the card lounge, because I was like, dang, it's a one-of-one Shohei Ohtani anime card.
Why didn't you pull the trigger?
Because it's 15 grand, Rob.
I know, but now it's probably worth
I don't know.
$150,000.
I don't know if you and I had 15 grand to throw at a card like this, but it's
that card, oh yeah, that's gonna be up there now. I
think
really
it
want
sold
this.
for right around 15 grand. I don't know. Maybe it went for 25, and then you and I would have had no chance of buying it. Like zero
and
chance.
what's funny
Even
is-
15 grand, you and I would have to scrounge money up for, you know?
I think it's funny now that I think that image sums up one thing I think is weird about sports card collectors, where a lot of the top chases now in sports cards aren't the actual image of the sports player.
No, I get that.
It
It doesn't even look like Shohei Ohtani. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
It just looks like a generic anime drawing of a man.
Yeah, if that didn't say Ohtani on it, I would have no idea who this was.
It was Ohtani, exactly. So I think it's funny. I'd rather just have a card of the image of the guy if you're going to collect a guy. But I just always remember like comments on certain things where people would be blown away at Pokemon prices, and it would always be like sports card collectors being like, why would you collect drawn images of things that aren't real? Like,
right, and they're doing the same.
I collect images of like the actual guy when I collect like this basketball player, but now the top chases aren't they're all like drawn.
They're all art
They're all
cards.
anime or kabooms or these like types of parallels where it's like an art card. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know that sports card collectors think that their prices are absolutely insane, but Pokemon card prices are actually pretty expensive too, but they've actually gone down. And I think you're actually still anchored onto the old prices, which are actually higher than they are now. A lot of card prices have actually gone down.
I think a lot of prices have gone, like certain Pokemon cards are still going up and then some have gone down. It's kind of a crazy market that we're in right now.
Okay, so here, I'm going to help you out, okay? We're going to play a new game. This one's really straightforward. You just have to get within 10% of the price that Collectr has. How about that?
Okay, of like the PSA 10 price or the raw price?
The PSA 10 price of these cards, because obviously raw card prices are all over the place.
Okay,
but
true.
PSA 10 prices are actually pretty solid, you know? They don't go that crazy up or down, I think, at least.
Yeah, no, I think they're a little bit more stable.
Okay, so we're going to start off with some ones that everyone knows about these. So we're going to do the Gengar and Mimikyu alt art from Team Up in a PSA 10. You have to get within 10% of the price.
Okay. Oh, okay. I like this game. The alt art Gengar Mimikyu. Ooh, I'm gonna say a PSA 10 of that card is now $1,800.
It is now $4,100 in a PSA 10.
What are you smoking? Wait, was it that like 5 months ago?
I don't know. It's just gone up.
$4,000 in a PSA 10.
All right, here's another one. The
Oh my
Shining
gosh.
Fates Charizard V Max. This is the one that a lot of people chase for a long time. Shining Fates Charizard V Max in a PSA 10.
Okay, I'll say that is like $250.
That's a lot closer. It is $325. I don't think that's with 10% though.
See, that makes sense. $300. I think the Gengar tag team Mimikyu being that.
There's a lot of Gengar hype. Gengar gang represent.
All Gengars are
all
up
right.
another
one of the favorite from the podcast, the Great Felt Hat Pikachu in a PSA 10. What's its current price?
I'm gonna say $2,100.
Collectr currently has it at $1,650. It's gone down a little bit.
Oh my gosh, because I'm pretty sure I had to pay someone $410 over that price.
Well, it's gone down
just a couple days ago.
Well, actually, that's just because it's October. You know, like prices have crashed in October.
That's true.
All right, another one, the Umbreon from the Unagaba promo set in a PSA 10.
Ooh, Unagaba Umbreon would be in a PSA 10. I'm gonna say $350.
It is currently $257 according to Collectr.
Really?
Affordable.
Is that, yeah.
If that's underrated for Rob.
For an Umbreon, I mean, as soon as he makes a Gengar, then people's heads will
another
explode.
one, and this one's one of my personal favorite. We got ourselves the Japan Post Pikachu, the beauty looking back Pikachu in a PSA 10.
Oh, man, I just remember when that was like 150, 200 all day. I hope I got one of those.
In a PSA 10?
In a PSA 10. I wanted to get the BGS 10s of those. So then I was like, okay, in a PSA 10, I'll say $400.
$400?
No, it's worth more. $800.
$800?
It shouldn't be. $1,000?
It's $1,800 in a PSA 10, my guy.
That card is $1,800 in a PSA 10?
Beauty looking back Pikachu.
I
can tell that Rob is not a Pikachu collector.
Wait, are you kidding me?
No, it's $1,800. Aren't you glad that I gave you guys one for a present many years ago?
I do remember that. Yeah, we haven't graded those. I think that's still sealed. I might have to crack
the sealed sets are very expensive too.
Oh my gosh.
The Cramorant hasn't gone up that much, and that's just because it's a Cramorant. You know?
$1,800. I feel like I remember at one point you could buy the black label of that Pikachu for maybe less than $1,800.
So I'll tell you right now, I just know the black label price off the top of my head because I am a Pikachu collector. So I tracked that.
What is it?
It's $6,500 for a black label Japan Post Pikachu.
I should have picked up the pair of the black labels when I had a chance.
Oh yeah, the black label of that is cool. I will say there's a lot of black labels of those out there. So it's one of those things where it's how much you value the black label, because black labels, as you were talking about, are really about how many copies of them there are. If you have a one-of-one black label, dude, you could ask whatever you want.
Yeah.
But for something like the McDonald's Pikachu, right, you and I think, both know that's going to be in the hundreds. There's going to be hundreds of McDonald's Pikachu black label. Yeah. So how much value does that add?
Okay, you know? for how special that card is, and because you could only get it through the Japanese post, I'm going to say I can at least justify... Man, I think $1,800 is still for just the Pikachu,
that's a great question.
Without
how much would you pay for the McDonald's Black Label Pikachu? How much do you think it's worth?
Wait, for the McDonald's Black Label Pikachu?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, like $500 or $600.
That's how much you would pay for it.
Yeah, because that's how much I know I've gotten other Pikachu promos that you could just mass send in and grade.
Okay, how much about for the? Which one were you talking about? The Japan Post one?
Yeah, I mean, I would pay more.
How much would you pay? Like, how much do you think it's worth? Just
for a black label? I mean, now...
Not how much it's currently worth, but how much you would pay. Right?
Yeah. Now, I mean, $2,000 to $3,000. But if the PSA is going for almost $2,000, you just have to respect like a more pristine copy. Unless I could find a really pristine copy in a PSA 10. Again, like for me, I do like... certain cards in a black label, but I don't need them in a black label. If I find a PSA 10 I'm always looking at the card, not the grade. So I'll like, even in a black label, I don't just buy that blind. I'll be like, show me the card. And I say the same thing for a PSA 10 as well. If I see a PSA 10 and it looks flawless and it's just like the perfect card, I might be happy with paying, that price for the PSA 10. I just think it must be harder to get that now, and I think I'd rather spend $2,000 on that card than $4,000 on the Gengar Mimikyu Alt Art Tag Team. I think that card is a little inflated right now.
Okay,
if I'm being honest.
Speaking of buying the cards and not the grades, I think you've heard of this rumor too, but the rumor going around town is that PSA is specifically buying back a lot of cards.
Oh yeah, let's talk about this.
And this is very interesting because they're buying back cards at pretty much full market value is what a lot of people are saying.
I mean, if they're paying 90% to 95%, they're competing with your courtyards, with your, these slab pack kind of digital. It is crazy because you don't need to do any packaging. It's all digital. So the overhead is a lot lower and they just have to store the cards and all the transaction process. Like they don't need real life vending machines like we've seen some places that have that even here at certain airports or, just in certain malls and stuff like that.
I think you're taking a leap that I'm also going to take. But before we even go to that level, before we even do that, it's weird for a grading company to buy their own card from the pure conflict of interest standpoint where, hey, man, if they buy a Umbreon VMAX for $4,000, that's the market price. They just set the market price for that card.
Right, and it's because they know they can sell it for more. And I guess if they do repacks, which PSA is doing through GameStop, but we know PSA and GameStop are working together because you can grade cards now through GameStop. It is kind of weird that they are able to, as a grading company, buy your cards as soon as you get it graded. It does seem like a conflict of interest because they are the one putting the grade on the card, which is ultimately dictating the price. And now they have the ability to kind of dictate the price even more by offering you whatever they want on the card. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I'm just going to sell my card. Like they graded a bunch of cards and they just looked at the prices PSA was offering and they just sold it to PSA immediately.
So let's give the viewers a really easy example, okay? The Unigaba Umbreon, right? That's the card that we just talked about. It's currently going for, let's say, $300. If PSA buys every copy of PSA 10s and they raise the market price to $500, now they have the ability to upcharge every Unigaba Umbreon because that's the market price. It's $500.
Why would they sell? I mean, they have their own eBay store now. They do bids and or auctions and they have listings on there. It's kind of wild because I guess if they have enough people sell them their slabs and people are going to do it because they're offering
paying very well.
Best, they're offering the best price. The issue is it will kind of it will disrupt the market, and I don't think in a good way because now like people that buy and sell Pokemon cards for a living, like us, like it's kind of like, well, I can't compete with buying a card at 90%, not knowing if it'll go up or down. But PSA has the bankroll to kind of take a hit like that, even if they bought every single Charizard SAR, which apparently they did. Remember that? The buybacks for everyone opening Phantasmal Flames or Inferno X, the Japanese version, people were grading the SIR Charizard, getting 10s on them, and then immediately looking at the price PSA was offering, and it was more than what last solds were on eBay. So they were just selling them to PSA. And then PSA was auctioning them all off, like literally a week or two later, on their eBay accounts. And I don't even know if they were reaching the price that they were buying the Zards for. But it almost doesn't matter because eventually at scale, right, they're going to buy enough cards of some sort of particular amount of like PSA 10s, 9s, and 8s. And as long as enough of those slabs go into repacks, there will be people that buy. It's not even the GameStop ones sold in stores. It's like, did you see that GameStop's doing digital repacks
They're
now?
currently doing a beta test of digital mystery boxes the same way that Counter-Strike skins or weapon loot boxes are. It's pretty much the exact same style, same kind of animation, same kind of pull rate. It's very similar to digital video game loot box. So similar.
And I appreciate the way Courtyard does it because it's like very transparent. You see the odds, you see the stuff that you can get inside. But like for GameStop, it's kind of like they just have these mystery, slabs, these mystery bags.
Oh yeah.
And essentially people can just check out with buying them. And you don't even know what you're going to get, and they'll just say, oh, you got this. And they can, you assume that the algorithm's on the up and up or whatever thing that they have for it, but it's all digital. Like,
no, I fully agree. And I'm a degenerate. I love that kind of gotcha mechanic. And I'll say this right now, just for my viewers to know, but once GameStop releases their digital loot box system, I'm probably going to drop $1,000 on it just to test it out. Just because I think it'll be neat. Maybe I'll lose a lot of value, but I'm going to do it. And I think it'll be an interesting experience to see how it's done. But obviously, they wouldn't do it if they weren't making money on it, right? So that's the ultimate thing is that a lot of people have noticed why is GameStop and PSA buying so many graded cards? It's because they expect to make some kind of value out of them. Is because they need a bunch of Inferno X Charizard as top chase cards for people to desire. Because if they don't have that, no one's going to be able to pull anything good.
And the whole thing is
they got to bait you with something.
Right. It's like a lottery system at the end of the day. Like people like the shot of like spending a certain amount for a chance where you can get something that's way, way, way more valuable. But for every one person that's going to hit that super, super grand prize thing, there must be another 10 people that fail or get less value, right? And everyone's just going to take turns at that shot.
I actually did a courtyard poll the other day, and I got I think it was like a 2009 Japanese Porygon 2 PSA 10.
Okay.
And I did not want the card. It was a $100 pull. I did a $100 pull. I got that card. I didn't want the card.
How much did they value that card at?
They value the card at $200.
Whoa.
So I just sold it back to Courtyard because...
And then doubled your money?
Yes, I just doubled my money. So I just did like 2 more pulls. But the idea behind that is that if I wanted to, I guess I could have taken that Porygon 2 PSA 10, but that's a really hard card for me to trade in. I don't want a Porygon 2 Japanese 2009 card. You know what I mean? Like that's very specific.
You'd have to really want that in your
collection. It might be worth
$200.
I don't even know if I disagree with the price, but I would have to find someone that would be willing to take that. And it's so niche.
But what you just hit on is why this is going to surpass eBay in scale, and also just like the buy, sell, trade mechanic of people that just want to try out getting slabs for the first time. Even new people entering the hobby, they will do slab pack rips, you know, whether it's on
I'm going to just say it,
Courtyard
loot box just work.
Because it's also the idea that you didn't want it. You immediately sold it back to them. They paid you out, so you doubled your money, but that slab didn't even have to move. Back in the day, for all this transaction to take place, you technically won it. It would have to go from them to you. You would decide, hey, I don't want this. You would have to try to struggle to sell it. You would maybe go to someone else. But if you're just going to send it back to them now, they're like, okay, we'll buy it. You would have to send it back to them. If anything, all this takes place now on a digital platform. And in a second, you have your money, they have that slab back, and that slab is just going to sit again until someone rolls the dice again and then gets that slab and decides to keep it or send it back.
It's actually,
they can just repurpose that slab bag forever.
Yeah, it's actually the same with PSA is that you can reach a point now where you never touch your card. It's just always kept in the eBay PSA ecosystem.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Now there's a PSA vault. So dude, eventually PSA is going to have everyone's collections in a vault. I'm not doing. Do you have any cards in there?
I have 0 cards inside of PSA's
guys,
vault.
Remember, ownership is when you actually can own the card and look at it whenever you want. But I mean, I kind of get the idea of vaulting.
There is value to it, but I like holding my card.
Right, I like looking at them. So if people want to vault stuff, you know, no shot at them. But it's also like, do you like own it then? It's a lot of the shared ownership stuff, and it's weird because they are a grading company. So it's like they're grading your card. They're telling you what the grade is on it. Then they're buying the card. They're setting the price for what the card is worth in the market because they're buying it. Then they can also sell your card on eBay. So they kind of control the ecosystem. And if you win it, they go, hey, don't get it shipped to you. We'll keep your card and we'll keep it safe.
There's another step to it now that's even crazier.
They have your card. As soon as you send it in to get graded, they control every aspect of the card's lifespan. You may not even ever touch it ever again.
I don't know if you've heard of this, but there's a new eBay collab with PSA, which is that if you buy a card from eBay, on eBay, let's say you bought, you know, a random Charizard, a raw card, you can just have it sent directly to PSA for grading, and it literally never touches your hand, which I don't know if I would ever trust PSA to the point where, hey, I'm not even looking at the card anymore. I'm literally not even, I've never inspected the card. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm just trusting PSA to grade it immediately,
and
which is crazy.
And you know you can't do that because that means the seller could send them a card. It could be some card that's like not even what you saw pictures of, because that happens all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when people like bait and switch cards. So you see a flawless image of a card. The seller goes, oh, I'm going to send them this less centered one. Oh, but they're not even going to look at it. So I'm going to send it to PSA. Then the
PSA is not going to look at
the
it.
The less good centered one isn't something that PSA knows. Oh, you bought the card because it was well set. They don't see the original pictures.
No,
you
no one
bought
sees
it.
it.
It's gonna be some guy sitting at a desk eating Jimmy John's or something.
Cheetos fingers.
Yeah, with he's getting paid $14 an hour. He's gonna assess that the card comes through. They're gonna grade it right away. They're gonna give it like 8 centering. They're gonna put a PSA 8 on it. You're gonna be like, what the hell? And you're not gonna know whether or not the card really was an 8, that they just sent them a bad copy, or if PSA just graded it incorrectly, which they're doing like so much now, probably because they're just being inundated with cards, and it's probably because they have the entire ecosystem controlled. Like, this is really kind of a crazy thing that a grading company could get this, like, their tendrils into every single aspect of a buy, sell, exchange for just a card's lifespan.
Yeah, and the thing is, once you get that grade result back from PSA, they'll say, hey, this card's a PSA 8. You're never going to even see the card. It never came to you. You're just going to say, PSA sell it for me. So they do the selling for you, and you have literally just bought a card, graded it, sold it, and you have never once touched that card.
And do you know what? Again, there's even another layer of conflict of interest. I saw someone point this out on a comment of one of those videos that people have been making about this situation. The idea that if you never see the card, if PSA puts an 8 on it, they could buy your card, and you've never seen it, right? But they could go, let's offer Jake a really, really good amount on this card. Could be a Moonbryon, right? 8's not going to be the same price as a 9 or a 10. But let's say they offer you a stronger than an 8 price or a raw price on your Moonbryon. You're going to go, oh, I'll sell it to them. They still have the card, and they don't have to send it to you or send updated photos to you. You just saw that they put an 8 on it, and they could easily just regrade the card or re-look at it, which you could do if you got the card and resent it in. They can essentially do like resubs of your cards, but they are now their cards themselves, have a grader now put a 9 on it or a 10 on it. I mean, the most malicious thing would be if they just bought people's 8s that are really 10s and then put 10s on it. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying, like, literally do the system that we do as consumers, like regrade the card, and PSA an 8 could turn to a 9, a 9 could turn into a 10.
So I fully agree with you, and it doesn't even have to be malicious. I'll tell you how simple it is.
And it will still break the it's still wrong. It's still a huge conflict of interest.
Right. So here's how simple it can be without it being malicious, which is why the trust is so easily broken, is that let's just say they bought 1,000 cards and they're all PSA 8s. They crack them all open and they regrade them.
Right.
But now they're regrading 1,000 cards that they own. So now as a grader, you are mentally biased to these 1,000 cards because you know that these are directly your cards.
Yes.
So because of that bias, maybe you grade half of them 1 grade higher. That's all it takes to make it so that they increase their value. Mm-hmm. And it has nothing to do with anyone doing anything maliciously. It's just little nudges in the system that says, well, I might get a bonus if I grade this card a 9 because we're making more profit this year. So that little nudge in the back of your head is just enough for you to be more generous to these specific cards.
And what's funny is it's not even about like, oh, will a grader receive 1,000 cards that are labeled, hey, these are PSA cards, treat them nicely, smiley face. The fact that you and I are even talking about that this potential outcome can exist is enough that now graders know that they can just be potentially grading cards that are just PSA owned cards. You see what I'm saying? Like the fact that the information is already out there just means that they're already like waiting to grade better. I mean, we know like we feel like PSA has been grading harsher recently, but it's like if they just get most of the supply and then they just grade things 9s and 10s and then they just sell the 9s and 10s, it's like an infinite money. Like, how will they not
right.
keep making more and more profit as a company?
No matter how you look at for a grader to grade their own cards and sell their own cards. I know some other graders have done that before, and it's just not a good look.
Right.
If you want to build credibility, you have to let the collectors decide.
Yes.
And that's what we'll leave it at the end of the day.
Right. And so to wrap this up, it's like, do we think this is enough for collectors to go, oh, we can't keep sending cards to PSA? Like, I'm almost kind of like, man, this is kind of insane to think like, what will this look like 2, 3, 5 years from now? But PSA has had such a stronghold in the collector space as far as being like the, there's still certain cards in my collection I do want in a PSA slab so that it's uniform with the rest of my collection. And I think every collector kind of has that. And I've got some stuff that's like, I just want BGS because it's uniform with my BGS stuff. But BGS isn't doing all this other like conflict of interest stuff,
Yeah. So it's something that's going to happen down the line. I don't think this is the straw that breaks the camel's back, but it is heading to that direction. Is that down the line, if that conflict of interest really does occur, where we break the news, where they are doing those biases that we're talking about, they are literally doing things where they're cracking their slabs and regrading them a grade higher.
Right.
If that does come out, it would devalue the credibility of the grades that they have. And I do think that would break the system. But as of right now, I will say PSA has a stranglehold on the Pokemon market specifically. We're talking about Pokemon because obviously some other graders like sports, they don't even care about PSA. It's not that big of a deal.
What? I think a lot of sports card collectors have grade with PSA.
Oh, I disagree. They do grade with PSA. There are graded sports cards, but I actually think BGS and SGC, surprisingly enough, actually has a huge market share of sports cards, which is crazy.
But PSA bought SGC.
Oh, did they really?
What? Wait,
I didn't know that.
I think we talked about this on the pod. This is like 20 episodes ago. SGC is PSA now.
Oh.
PSA acquired SGC.
But SGC still exists?
Not for long, I don't think, because based on the latest, they haven't been grading a lot of, certainly TCG, they didn't make an impact in, but I think just a lot of sports card collectors are like, if we like that SGC look, can we still get it graded with them? I think there's still the option of that, but then I also heard there's like if you send stuff to SGC, can you convert SGC slabs to be reholdered into PSA slabs? And obviously they wouldn't do that unless PSA
I haven't heard of this, but that's crazy news. Yeah. So we're just going down a weird hill now.
Well, just me. I mean,
I agree.
They have a stranglehold on both the TCG space and the sports card space. Okay. I mean, it's literally called what? Professional sports authenticator. I mean, they were doing sports long before TCG.
Yeah,
so.
It's just that Pokemon took over in terms of the volume.
Yeah, people wanted to grade a lot of. Yeah, agreed. So a lot of people are grading Pokemon with PSA. Guys, if you grade
let us know
cards,
what your thoughts are.
Let us know your thoughts. Let us know if you think that this could destroy PSA. Let us know if you still want to grade with PSA or you think PSA will be fine. Or is there anything that you think PSA can do to still allow these business moves to take place, but ensure to the community that everything will be on the up and up and that, they can kind of do all these segments of the hobby non-maliciously.
Yeah,
I don't know. Let us know, guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on the Card Lounge.
Thanks for
Peace out,
lounging
everyone.
with us.